on the ID-52 10 miles away. I've got an old tablet here which is running Icom's MS1A app, and this is paired to my 705. There I am, look. Welcome back, guys. It's cold again. -2. Right guys, so today I want to do some range tests. I want to see just how well my home base setup is receiving. I know it gets out really well, but I want to see what the reception's like, so what it can pick up from, you know, further afield. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in the car. I've got my mobile radio in the car, Icom 7100. I've got an antenna which I'm not entirely sure is great. It just screws on top of my mount on the top of the car. It was a cheapy thing, but it seems to work okay. Anyway, we're going to test that out. Drive about 6 or 7 miles away. That's line of sight. It's about 15 miles to my studio. And then I'm going to do some bits there and then come back. So I'm going to leave my Icom 705 on here recording. So you can basically set a recorder on this radio. You know, if you hit that, it stops it. If you hit that, it starts it, and it will basically record anything that it hears. So for this test I'm going to use digital. I'm going to use DV mode. So DV mode on this radio is D-Star, obviously it's Icom, and the radio in the car is the Icom 7100, which has got D-Star as well. So we can basically do our test in digital and see how far it gets. And when I get back I can listen to the recorded files on the SD card and see where I've been heard from. Now there's one other thing. I'm going to take the ID-52 as well, because let me show you this. This is really cool. I've got an old tablet here which is running Icom's MS1A app, and this is paired to my 705. Now on the newer radios like the ID-52, they've got a built-in GPS receiver. So when you key up, it will actually log your position on the app. So here's the map view. So whenever the 705 picks up the signal from the ID-52 and decodes its GPS information, you will appear on this map here. How cool is that? You can also do loads of other things like text messaging as well. See, I've just been messing around between radios. So basically I had this phone that I'm using to make the video connected to the ID-52 by Bluetooth, and then the 705 connected to this tablet, and you can do two-way messaging. So cool. So here's the received station list. So if I key up on the ID-52, there you go, it's showing something. So there we are on there. So 1025, frequency 6125 there, and then it's showing it's decoded a GPS position, which I'm not going to show you. And then my text message there up the top. Right, let's head out in the car. Oh, by the way, the little fuse for the amplifier came, and the amp is not dead. My little VHF amplifier is still working. The ice has gone. That's the antenna I was talking about. Right, so it's the 7100. So I've set my call sign in the Euro field to M6JK, which is my call sign, and the call sign that the 705 is going to recognise. Obviously my call sign is also M6JK. It does work for the purposes of this video, but yeah, that is how you set it. On the 7100 you've got to do basically CS, and then you can edit these fields here. Right, let's do the first test then. Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha range test near the train bridge. I know the coverage here is really good because it's literally about a quarter of a mile away. If I can't get that far, it's really going to be a problem. Hills always help. I'll wait till I get to the top of this hill. I'll try putting a shout out on the ID-52. M6JKA testing 7 miles away? Right guys, I've just got out of the car. I'm at the 10 mile mark now, so let's try the ID-52 and just see if it'll work. Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha on the ID-52 10 miles away. Okay, so where the studio is down there, so I'm going downhill, so it's no way the ID-52 is going to work, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to try just giving it one more shout when I get to my parking space down there on this. It's in amongst houses, so I highly doubt it's going to make it. Right, just got to the flat, so I've got a good feeling about this. I'm going to go onto the balcony from here. So this is 10.5 miles away directly. You know, obviously line of sight, it's not line of sight because there's so much crap in between, but you know, it takes about 25-30 minutes, half an hour probably to get from here to where the 705 is by road, and the distance obviously is 10 miles, you know, directly as the crow flies. So let's give the ID-52 a go and see. M6JKA at the studio. I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't make it because it is an RF nightmare here. Right, I'm back. Let's check the activity then. So if we go over to the map view, there I am, look. That's basically when I was 10 miles away. So
if we tap on that, you can actually see, how do we do it? Do we go check RX history? Click on that. Oh, excellent. So there's my call sign, ID-52, receive time 11:16. It's got the GPS coordinates right. There's the locator. It's obviously not quite got the M for the MS1A app on there. That was my text message. But how cool is that? That's amazing. I mean, that's like 10 miles away, just on the handheld, just with that rubber duck. Just looking in the RX history list, it's weird that the ID-52 isn't there, but the 7100 is. Right, so we can play back some of the voice stuff. So I think
Mike 6 Julia Kilo Alpha range test near the train bridge.
the audio sounds pretty good actually, doesn't it? Yeah, so that was probably what, about a quarter of a mile away, something like that.
M6 JKA, 1 mile away. 1 mile away.
This one's quite a good one.
M6 JKA on the ID-52, 3.7 miles away.
That's on the handheld.
M6 JKA, about 5 miles away.
And at about 7 miles away, a bit of packet loss, but
M6 JKA, about 7 miles away.
still readable. This one's quite good as well, just coming into Harlow, all the way from Hartford.
M6 JKA just entering Harlow. M6 JKA just entering Harlow.
Really clear. Right guys, this one. I didn't actually go McDonald's, guys. I'm on a diet for January.
M6 JKA, McDonald's.
Right guys, are you ready for the audio from the ID-52? 10 miles away. 10 miles away on the rubber duck antenna. Listen to this.
ID-52, 10 miles away.
What? That's crazy. Not one bit of packet loss. It didn't sound like anyway.
Mike 6 Julia Kilo Alpha on the 7100, 10 miles away.
It's absolutely no difference at all. So then I sort of went down the hill a bit into where basically the studio is, and in amongst the houses. So you can hear a little bit of packet loss there. So nothing more from the ID-52. It just wasn't going to work inside the car, so I didn't even bother trying it.
M6 on the 7100, almost at the studio.
Right, so you remember I got to the studio and I was like, there's no way the ID-52 is going to make it from there. Even though it's on a balcony, it's just a bad RF place. It's a bad place for RF. But I just checked the timestamps on the little video clip, and on the radio itself, it was saying 11:33. And listen to this. So 11:33. M6 JKA at the studio. Lots of packet loss, but it's basically there. So I can do door to door from the flat. I mean, this opens up a lot of opportunities. Each time I do experiments with this ID-52, I'm more and more impressed with it. I can't really believe I've never been able to do that before. Never been able to do it. So that's interesting. But yeah, with an external antenna, maybe on that balcony, just something just out and up, we could actually do two-way from here to there, which I don't know why it's cool, but it kind of is. So there you go, guys. Really interesting stuff there. Just when I was getting fed up with digital, it's kind of made me interested in it again. I think the audio sounds not bad either. I don't know if you agree. It doesn't actually sound bad at all. Analog is always going to sound better because you've got a better, bigger dynamic range. But I'm quite liking that. It sounds pretty good. And the data aspects of this kind of setup. So I've been able to send text messages backwards and forwards between radios, sending pictures, multimedia. That is such a cool thing for, if there was like a disaster or something, or like if there was a cell phone outage or internet outage in a certain area, this is still going to work. That is the beauty of ham radio. It's still going to work. One other thing about these digital setups, it's really good for testing your system. Like here, we're basically testing, what I can receive. We know that this setup gets out pretty well. I can do that on a daily basis to see how far my signal's getting out, and it does get out well. But it's what you can hear is actually more, in a lot of ways, more important than where you can get or how far your signal's going to get. Because if you can't hear it, you can't work it, can you? And you know what's interesting here is I'm using RG58 coax. This is a sort of temporary setup. So I'm using very, very lossy coax. I'm running about 20 meters of RG58 on VHF. and that's a lot of loss. So I'm probably losing like S points off that signal. So what I want to try next is using some better feeder. I'd usually use M&P, I think it's like Ultraflex or whatever it is. I usually use some big fat stuff for like my main home base installations, but of course this was just a portable setup, just thrown up quick. But it's starting to turn into a bit of a main setup now. Anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do the usual stuff. Follow us on Discord, or join the Discord should I say. There's loads of activity happening there, and I'll catch you in the next one. One more thing, and I promise I'll go. If you've got an IC705 or a radio that can do D-Star and use the MS1 app, I think it's basically like the 705 or the ID-52 or maybe the ID-51 if you've got a special cable. I'm going to start leaving a radio on the VHF call-in channel and just monitoring. So send me a text message, just stick my call sign in the 2 field. I don't think it works on CQ, it might do. But yeah, anyway, if you're in the area, I mean, I'm covering a pretty big area. So if you want to send me a message, 144.6125 megahertz UK FM simplex call-in channel, digital call-in channel. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Right, I'm gone.